That first question I was asking it, because what I found was, for example, when I was at IWU, they never really addressed, at least not that I remember listening about the longevity of youth ministry. Are you always going to be in, or is there going to be a transition? I never remember hearing that there's going to be this transition period and kind of addressing it. They just sort of assumed that if you were going to be a real pastor,
right,
you'd do a Christian ministry degree. If you were going to do youth ministry forever, you'd just do that degree. When you started youth ministry, did you think you were going to be in it forever?
No. Because actually what happened is while I was in college, my sophomore year, didn't really know what the Wesleyan Church was. I was raised Baptist, but one of the guys in my accountability group was an older guy, pastored a church. He had his ordination, was just getting his classes, and he asked me to come be his youth pastor. So that was my first introduction really to the local Wesleyan church, and I was horrible as a youth pastor. I was blessed. I always had great youth pastors, but I just did not. I tried to love the kids. I just didn't feel like I got through to them. And there were a lot of factors in that. There was some drug use going on. But for me, it wasn't a very satisfying experience. So as I was getting to getting ready to graduate, and I experienced the same thing as you, I think there were maybe 2 youth ministry classes when I was in school. Youth ministry was there, but it wasn't the focus that it is now. And I just had zero desire to be a youth pastor because I just did not think that I had been successful. I didn't think I could be successful. And actually sent my resume out, and my cover letter was kind of, hey, I'm looking for an assistant pastor job. I didn't say I was against youth ministry, but I was looking more for an associate pastor position. And right there on campus at Southern Wesleyan, they were hiring a youth pastor. A guy approached me and says, you should apply for this job. I said, oh dear, no, that would not be a good idea. But because I would be replacing a guy who'd been there 6 years, he was becoming the children's pastor. But once things started going, I would say graduating college, had no desire to be a youth pastor. Once that door opened, and it was a church close to home, I grew up 15 minutes from Southern Wesleyan, it did become, I'm here for the long haul. And I think that had a lot to do with that essentially was my home church. My girlfriend, fiance, now wife, was still in school. So there was just all these factors. And like I said, I was at my first church 10 years. And I think that became a goal in my mind. Like 10 years was this, was 6 years, it takes 6 years for a kid to go through 7th through 12th grade. So I knew I wanted to do at least one generation. And I loved it, man. I had a great time. We had a great district, got to do a lot of district youth camps. So I was, looking back, it's been 20 years since I started college. And if you had told me 20 years ago, hey, you're going to be a youth pastor for 13 years, different places, probably would have been like, yeah, I don't know about that. I didn't strive for that, but I absolutely don't regret it. Greatest days of my life.